Alright, it's time. Ain't gonna get to those today. Need to get U-bolts. Definitely let's try to get this intake on and try to modify a set of fuel rails to work with it. Here's the bracket that failed on me the other day. Let me set these screwdrivers down. At the racetrack, the plastic pulled through and was down here, and we had to spread that apart, put it back down in, and then lock it to keep it from coming out on the ride home. I got a new bracket, this one that goes to the fast. The old TBSS setup won't work. Gonna reuse my fuel rails though, and my injectors, of course. And I need to modify the $30 Temu throttle body to match this $30 Temu body throttle body that's been flawless for me. And hopefully this 4-inch coupling that barely tightly fits the 92 will fit a 102. We'll be all good to go then. Well, she's still clean underneath. Port work still hanging in there. Took about 5 minutes to get all that off, and here's the whole unit. Let's see if I can get a better shot. Port work turned out better than I thought. That's why I expect this thing to run a little better than it does. Unless I somehow messed with the oil flow, or the airflow, I mean. Camera upside down. I'm gonna go over the inside and re-torque them. This is a nice little torque wrench, snap on. Just gonna double check everything before I button it up. All right, got the fuel rail kit to rerun the TBSS fuel rails on the fast with the LS1 injectors. LS1 injectors need this spacer, and then this kit comes from Comp, and it worked out good. Another thing I had to do is I had to put the injector O-rings on the second ring. I can't pull one out to look at. Here's an old truck style, but instead of it being right down on the sprayer, there's basically a clip section right here on the old LS1 style, and I just moved the new O-ring up to it, and it all went down good. She's about ready to go on though. Well, found the next issue. If you're running an old style alternator, it's hitting well before. Trim that off. Well, got it on there. It had its struggles. Had to saw off, like I said, the alternator. Put the 102 on and it whistled so bad. Throttle cable is tight as a banjo string. I had to slop that to make it work. I still ain't got a solution for that. And I haven't tried to shut the hood yet, but let's hope it shuts. But let's get it together and do the drive home. Well, guys, nobody come out tonight at Lowe's. So far, definitely tell that the truck has got way more acceleration. It's a little wet. For some odd reason, the AFR is rich, which I would think if I put an intake on it gets more air, that the AFR would be lean. Don't make any sense to me unless sensor isn't clocked right, and I'm maybe reading from a different cell. Would be about all I could think of on that ordeal. God, this is a rough road through here. Here it's surging. I need to reclock the TPS. Truck up, and I'm like, my map sensor is stuck wide open, 105 kPa. So I'm like, I swapped sensors while I had it apart. I found a sensor with a better grommet and all that. So we pull it out, and I stick a screwdriver down in the hole, and it's stopped off. It's a one-way hole. So I had to re-drill for the map sensor. Then the truck started idling and running a lot better. But yeah, everything is, other than it being rich, like it definitely feels like it's got more power. Like I can tell it's shocking. Like it feels like it gave it more power than the 6053 swap. And that could be because the ported heads. Who knows? Had to go back with the 92 throttle body, the 102. It squeals. I need to work on making the IAC hole a little bit bigger. But maybe tomorrow I can add to this video and get a few hits if it's dry. I don't know what the weather is. And then we go from there and see, you know, if we can find real data that this intake helped. Well, guys and gals, it's a new day. The intake's in. Found some things coming home last night. Apparently I had an intake leak of some sorts with the old intake, and I had tuned to it, and I expected after bolting this on, getting more air, that I would have a lean condition and have to tune for it. And I guess by sealing up whatever air leak I had on the other intake, now everything's just a touch on the rich side. So what little bit of tuning I'll have to do will be very minimal. It's not bad. rainstormed all night last night coming home, but I did get a little 50 to 100 pull, and it was a tenth or so faster, but it's hot as can be right now. I'm gonna start the truck up for the first time and see how it idles. And the key, if it'll sit here. God, it's hot. It might sit here. A lot of stuff rattling. Good old homemade air box still hanging in there. Sounds like my power steering making a noise. Good though, first time firing it up today. I never did clock my TPS sensor, so it might stumble a little bit off throttle. Surging a little bit. Some tuning needs to be done. Let's go down and try do a little hit maybe with it. we can do. Be nice to at least do better than a 7.8. All things go right, and there's plenty of traction and grip, then I might be able to pull some weight out of this thing and see how it does. As long as we don't break, that's all that matters. Change my tune a little bit, see what we got here. Definitely hear the intake sucking. Fourth gear pull. Yep. Headed to the track. She's sticky. Pull a hay dude off. We're in the staging lanes. We've made 3 passes. Went a 780, 182 60 foot, I think. And I tried to get a little bit better 60 foot, so I let a little bit of air pressure out and turned the 2-step down. Second pass, it bogged. So third pass, I turned the 2-step back up and blew the tires off and went an 84. And now we're running our 4th run. I turned the 2-step back down. And let's see if it was a fluke or if it was a legit bog. Hoping for the sun to go down and get faster and at least get a 770s pass. That's what I'll do.
step down 125 RPM, like hardly nothing.
gear shift would not, I had to take both hands to get it to get out of gear. Like I thought, still don't know, but I thought I maybe broke something in the transmission. I drove it home, see if it shifts a second here. There. So still don't know. I'm driving it today to kind of fill out and see if maybe a piece of my rubber boot was just wedged and it was hard to move the shifter, or if I got something broke inside that I need to pull the transmission again. It's 50-50. Don't want to pull the trans if I don't have to. But as of right now, it's back to normal. I mean, the drive home last night, it was great. It was wet, so I couldn't really get on it. Had a buddy that showed up to track. He just recently bought a S10, little square body with the turbo, 355 power glide, race gas. In it really cheap. And he ended up running, I think, a 580s pass. Popping some decent sized wheelies off the line. Tickled to death that he had fun. First time racing cars on 8th mile. So far, I have not been able to tell. After we put the fast intake on, I went a 788 at the no prep event, so I figured for sure I was going to go faster on prep. And I mean, I did go faster, but just not enough. I was looking for a 7.5 would be out of the world expectations. A 7.6. 7.6 would be a successful night to me. And that didn't come to fruition either, so. Perfect weather. It was 70-some degrees. They had some fireworks. Had a really big turnout. Set a new track record at a 5.0. Long style dragster did that. There's a bunch of dragsters there that was running 5.1s and 5.2s. The track's getting better. They fixed, well, they didn't fix it. There's some dips and bumps that they sorted out a little bit. They added, filled in a little bit around one of the dips at the end of the left lane. Helped it. Still pretty bad. For some reason now the right lane is getting rougher and rougher. I don't know if that's hardtail cars and stuff going down in the glue, and it's kind of making a rumple strip kind of thing. Style is of fitment from Night Rider. Had a transmission line blow off at the finish line at like 110, and it turned him straight into the wall. Guy was okay, but that slowed things down enough to have the fireworks. Not a disappointing night by any means. I originally built this truck with an idea of going drag and drive type racing. There's just none really close to us, because I would have to drive it to wherever the race would be and then compete and then drive it home. And the closest one is I think there's a sick week in Gatlinburg in October, and that would be maybe a 2.5, 3 hour drive there, then to compete. It'd also be quarter mile, so I mean a lot more stuff to break. Disappointed with the fast intake? Yeah, so far I am. For that amount of money, I thought I should see a 10th gain or something, and I haven't. It does feel faster at times, and also the engine feels like it's doing way less effort than what it needs to. Like it's just way smoother to run the numbers that it was running before, and it sounded like it was screaming. I may take it off and not so much port it or do anything to it, but take it off and check and make sure everything's sealed up good and everything's good, because I kind of rushed and put it on. Message on one of the LS Swap Facebook pages about the injectors not coming out flush at the bottom of the intake manifold like they do with a factory intake, and nobody can tell me anything, so exhaust at some point. It's just not been important or high priority. Last weekend I put the fast intake on and made some practice hits and tuned a little bit on the truck. The truck was extremely rich when I first put the intake on, and I dialed it back a little bit, try to get 12.5 AFR. Had a good weekend. A $25 entry to make 5 passes. I was perfectly fine with that. Didn't even know they didn't advertise the test and tune at the track. I thought I was just going to enter a bracket class and get 2-time trials and an elimination pass, but it worked out.